When I woke up, my mouth was filled with the stench of soil. Someone is calling my name behind me. Lane! Lane! Can you hear me? I tried to open my eyes, but I felt as though my entire head had been struck by a heavy hammer. The intense pain spread from the back of my head to every part of my body. The next moment, a completely unfamiliar memory flooded into my mind. Just like a tide. Rusty wooden house. My father, who is old but still works hard. A mother who suffers from chronic coughing. There was also a 15-year-old boy, whose name was also Ryan. He was the son of one of the most ordinary farmers in the territory of Valence. Every day, I helped my father work the fields in the manor, take care of the livestock for the family. My greatest wish is to one day become a full-fledged servant in the manor, because once one becomes a formal member of the noble estate, it means that one is freed from the status of a tenant farmer. There is a fixed source of food. There is a stable source of income. In the future, it's even possible to learn real skills and crafts. But this wish was nearly destroyed 3 days ago. The original Ryan was kicked in the head by a furious donkey, while trying to save a small calf that had gotten out of control, seriously injured and unconscious. Everyone thought that he wouldn't survive. Until now. I have been in this body. I actually traveled through time? As soon as this thought appeared in my mind, a cold voice suddenly rang in my ears. Meets binding conditions. My consciousness became clear instantly. A translucent panel appeared before my eyes. Name: Ryan. Age: 15 years old. Occupation: none. Strength: 3. Physical condition: 3. Agility: 4. Spirit: 5. Skills: none. Experience: 0. System prompt: the host can gain professional experience through learning, training, and working. Different skills lead to different career paths. I stared at the panel in front of me, and my heart began to beat rapidly. As a person from the modern world, I understand very well what this means. In this unfamiliar world, I have no noble status, no powerful family, and no innate bloodline. But I have an opportunity that can help me grow. Lane, you've woken up, haven't you? A voice filled with exhaustion was heard. I turned my head around. A middle-aged man sat by the bed, his face filled with anxiety. He is my father. Although he was only in his 40s, long-term labor had already turned his hair gray. The woman beside her was wiping her tears away. How do you feel, child? I opened my mouth. Father, mother, I'm fine. When I said these words out loud, I myself was also somewhat dazed, but the memories in my body tell me that they are the only family I have left. Hade held my hand. The doctor said your injuries are very serious. It's a miracle that you've managed to wake up. He spoke in a lower tone as he continued speaking. It's just. I looked at him. What's wrong? Had remained silent for a while. The training for the servants in the manor will start in less than half a month. If you can't participate, then there will be no chance this year. I quickly tried to recall the information in my memory. Valence Manor. This is the largest noble estate in the vicinity. Lord Valence Count controls the entire region. Every few years, the estate would recruit a group of young people to participate in the apprenticeship training program. The training period lasts for 3 months. In the end, only 5 people were able to stay behind, to become a formal servant. For ordinary civilians, this is a chance to change their lives. However, obtaining the registration status isn't easy at all. A fee needs to be paid. For wealthy families, that's just a small amount of money. But for the families of tenant farmers, it is almost equivalent to all their savings. I watched my father's rough hands. The money from home. Hade lowered his head. I've already paid. In order to enable you to participate in this training, your mother even took out the money she had planned to spend on medicine. My heart sank for a moment. The cruelty of this world is even more direct than I imagined. Ordinary people who want to climb up need to give everything they have. And if we fail once, we might remain at the bottom forever. I clenched my fists. Father, I will definitely stay behind. Had was stunned. Lane, you know how fierce the competition inside is. Those who participated in the training were mostly young people from the city. They have been exposed to various crafts since they were young. You're just a child from a farming family. I watched him, but I no longer have any way to back out. Hade stared at me for a long time. Finally, he patted me on the shoulder. Like your grandfather, he was the same when he was young. If you are determined on one thing, you will never bow your head. 3 days later, my body has started to recover somewhat. The training camp at Valence Manor officially begins. I brought simple luggage with me to the training site. There are dozens of young people gathered here. Someone was wearing a clean leather jacket. Someone is using expensive tools. The differences between families can be seen at a glance. And the clothes on me were sewn by my mother overnight. As soon as I joined the team, I heard a mocking voice. Isn't that the guy who almost died from being kicked by a donkey? I turned my head around. A tall and strong young man stood there. He had a smile on his face. Several young people were following behind me. In my memory, this person's name was Ricky, the son of the tavern owner in the town. Although our family isn't considered noble, we are still much richer than ordinary commoners. He has been accustomed to being surrounded by others since he was a child. Richie walked up to me. I heard that you spent all your family's money just to get this qualification. Didn't you? What a pity. But this isn't a farmland. Here, people who truly have the necessary skills are needed. Someone nearby started laughing. I didn't pay him any attention. Go directly to the registration desk. The smile on Rich's face disappeared. Didn't you hear me speak? I stopped walking. I heard you. And then what happened? The surroundings quieted down. Richie clearly didn't expect me to respond in such a way. In the past, Ryan always kept his head down in front of him. But now, I can't do it anymore. Richie narrowed his eyes. Interesting. I hope you can keep going for 3 months. After the registration is completed, everyone starts receiving their tasks. The first training session focuses on basic serval skills. Polish the hooves of the beast. Take care of the war horses. Maintenance tools. Learning how to perform simple. The person responsible for teaching is an experienced craftsman from the estate. His name is Byrne. He looked at us. What the nobles need are people who are reliable. There is either a young master here, nor any other noble person. Whoever stays behind is judged by their abilities. After saying that, he pointed at a battle horse. First item, repairing the hooves. Many people have started to take action. Some wealthy young people quickly picked up their tools and worked skillfully. I walked to the other side. A prompt appeared suddenly in the system. Are you willing to bind yourself to a specific profession? Something stirred in my heart. Bind. Blacksmith apprentice profession activated. Current level, junior apprentice. Completing the related tasks will earn you experience points. A new panel appears in front of me. Occupation, blacksmith apprentice. Experience, 0. Skills, none. I gripped the tools in my hands tightly. The next moment, I started working. The first attempt at repairing the hoof isn't easy at all. In my memories, Ryan only did simple farm work. But now, I possess the ability to learn that is characteristic of modern people. Observe, analysis, adjustment. Soon, I found the right approach. The system alerts keep ringing continuously. Skill proficiency has been improved. A slight smile appeared on my lips. Indeed, there are no shortcuts in this world. But I have a way of growing up that others do not possess. The training session ended on that day. The others were too tired to stand up and lay down on the ground, but I kept staring at my own attributes. Strength, 3. Physical condition, 3. Experience, a little bit. Although the improvement is quite small. But this is just the beginning. Night. Everyone, please take a break. But I sneaked into the horse stables, continuing to polish the hooves of the animals. The old man in charge of the guard noticed me. You're not going to sleep? I shook my head. I want to stay. The old man looked at me. Young people, it's okay to work hard, but don't exhaust yourself too much, I said in a low voice. If I can't even endure such hardships, then why should I try to change my fate? The old man didn't say anything anymore. The next morning, just when other people have just gotten up from bed, I have completed a whole night of training. The system prompt appears again. I looked at the panel. The first time I experienced it. The door to this unfamiliar world is opening before me. I just don't know. The competition within the manor is actually more brutal than I imagined. And that Riki, who has been staring at me all this time, has also started to try to cause me trouble. Because in his eyes, the son of a tenant farmer simply has no right to stand here. The next morning, as soon as I entered the training ground, I noticed that something wasn't right with the atmosphere here. The people who were working on organizing their tools stopped what they were doing as soon as they saw me. Several young people were whispering to each other. Is it really him? That guy who stayed up all night working on livestock hooves? I heard that he worked twice as much work as everyone else yesterday. I ignored those voices completely. After a night of rest, although my body was exhausted, my mind remained exceptionally clear. The system panel appears in front of us. Name: Ryan. Profession: apprentice blacksmith. Level: beginner. Experience: 27. Strength: 3. Physical condition: 3. Agility: 4. Spirit: 5. Skill points: 1 point. Looking at the increased experience, I became even more convinced. As long as I continue to learn and accumulate knowledge, I will be able to establish myself in this world. Lane. A sound came from beside me. I turned my head around. A tall young man stood there. He had dark skin, broad shoulders, and in his hands, he held a wooden sword used for training. My name is Gareth. Yesterday, you helped me adjust the angle of the tools. Thank you. I remember now. During yesterday's training, a young man almost injured himself because the handle of the hammer became loose. I quickly helped him fix it. I didn't expect that he could remember it up to this day. It's a simple effort. Gareth smiled. Many people here look down on those of us who come from ordinary families, but I think you're different. I watched him. What's the difference? He spoke seriously. Others think about how to make themselves visible to others. What you really want to do is to become stronger. This sentence made me pause for a moment. I never expected that a young boy of this age could receive such praise. I laughed. You too? Gareth raised his eyebrows. Why? If you just want to pass time without taking any active steps to help others, then you definitely won't do anything to help them. He remained silent for a while, then began to laugh. From that day on, I now have one more friend. The training requirements become more and more stringent every day. In the morning, we studied the basic knowledge of related topics. In the afternoon, we practice various crafts. In the evening, physical training will be conducted. For others, such a lifestyle is already close to the limits, but for me, this is an opportunity to improve oneself. The system records my progress every day, treating and repairing the hooves, forging, maintain agricultural tools. Even simply helping the blacksmith organize materials can lead to experience points. After a few days have passed, my apprentice skills as a blacksmith are improving rapidly. Obtained additional attribute points. I didn't hesitate at all. The attributes can be directly added to the physical constitution. The body is the foundation of everything. There are monsters in this world. There are knights. There are powers that ordinary people cannot understand. If one can't even control their own body, how can they talk about the future? The moment of complete reinforcement. A warm sensation spread from deep within my body. My muscles began to feel slightly warm. The sense of fatigue quickly disappeared. In the past, when carrying heavy objects, both hands would quickly become sore. Now, I can clearly feel that my strength is increasing. Lane, have you become stronger lately? After the training ended, Gareth couldn't help but ask. I looked at him. Why do you say that? Previously, when you moved that iron box, 2 people were needed to assist you. Today, you carried everything by yourself. I smiled. Maybe it's just because I'm used to it. Gareth didn't ask any further questions. He just patted my shoulder. If you really become a formal servant in the future, don't forget this friend of mine. I looked into his eyes. If I can stay behind, then you can too. However, the more deeply we train, the more so it becomes. The competition is becoming increasingly intense, especially Ricky. It seems like he can't accept that I'm even trying to catch up to the others. That day, Teacher Bourne asked everyone to practice repairing horse gear. I just finished sewing a pair of leather items. Richie walked over. Let me have a look. I didn't refuse. Richie picked up the horse gear and took a look at it. Suddenly, he pulled hard. Bang! The leather connections are disconnected directly. Everyone around looked in their direction. So the quality is so poor? Richie shook his head. It seems that someone isn't suitable for this place. I looked at the place where the break occurred. I quickly understood what was going on in my mind. This is not considered to be natural damage. The connection point was carefully marked with a thin line in advance. Is that so? I asked calmly. Richie laughed. Do you really think that it was me who did it? I just wanted to remind everyone about this. Don't let someone else drag everyone down. The several followers around them immediately agreed with them. I didn't have any arguments. Pick up the tools and start repairing again. Half an hour later. The new equestrian gear is now ready. Bourne went over to check it. The old man watched for a while. Who did this damage? In a word, he managed to make the entire training ground quiet down. Richie's expression changed. Teacher, what do you mean by this? Bourne pointed at the broken part. This place isn't suitable for using damaged items. Someone has cut it ahead of time. Young man, Don't treat others as if they were stupid. Ricci looked very upset. But Bourne didn't continue with the investigation. He just glanced at me once. Lane, the craftsmanship is quite good. But this place isn't just about craftsmanship. You need to learn how to protect yourself. I nodded in agreement. Understood. Knight. I returned to my accommodation. The system suddenly displayed a prompt. Do you want to enable the combat-related skill progression system? I was momentarily stunned. Combat profession? I immediately chose to confirm it. After meeting the conditions, you can access the combat profession. I looked at these words. My heart begins to beat faster. The things in this world that truly attract me. Those who possess extraordinary powers. I have been in the manor these days. I've heard many rumors. There are carnivorous monsters in the forests nearby. There are cult members active in the wilderness. The coastline is often targeted by pirates who attack villages. Ordinary people live in such a world. All we can do is pray for luck. But knights are different. They possess the power to protect themselves. The second day, the manor organized a demonstration of knight training. All new members are allowed to watch the content. The person in charge of the presentation is Sergeant Perez. When he appears, the entire training ground became completely quiet in an instant. Perez was wearing a silver-gray armor, holding a long sword in hand. He walked up to a huge stone pillar. Is this what true knightly strength really is? Someone said something in a whisper. The next second, Perez swung his sword. There were no unnecessary actions at all. A bright light flashed by. Boom! The entire stone pillar broke in the middle. Everyone gasped in shock. I stood among the crowd. For the first time, I truly saw a glimpse of the power that resides at the pinnacle of this world. That moment, I finally understood. What the system offers me is not just an opportunity to change my life. It is a path leading towards becoming stronger. After the presentation is over, a young girl walked into the training ground. She was wearing a simple black training uniform. He held a huge double-handed sword in his hands. The people around them immediately began whispering to each other. It's Miss Serena, Countess's daughter. I watched her. The next second, the girl swung her sword. Her heavy hands handled the sword just like any other weapon. Several knights and their followers took turns fighting against her. Her movements were precise and smooth. Every attack forces the opponent to retreat. I watched very carefully, because I discovered that this is what real battle really looks like. It's not a street fight. It's not just about waving weapons around. It's actually a complete set of techniques. Serena seemed to notice my gaze. She turned her head around. Our gazes briefly crossed each other. She didn't say anything, but there was a hint of confusion in his eyes, because she discovered it. The young servant who stood at the very back of the crowd. Look at the look in her eyes during the battle. It's not like ordinary people at all. It was a look of longing to become stronger. That night, I didn't go to polish my hooves for the first time. Instead, they practiced sword skills in an open area. The system continuously records my actions, correct the errors, improve proficiency. Until late at night, my hands have developed blisters from the constant use, but I still didn't stop, because I want to become a knight. Instead of just being the son of a tenant farmer, just working hard for a day or two is far from enough. I need to pay a price that others cannot even imagine, and my first step, it means giving oneself the right to challenge one's fate. I practiced sword techniques for 7 consecutive days. Every morning, I learned the skills of a manor servant alongside the others. Polish the hooves of the beast, organizing the horse gear, maintain agricultural tools. After completing the training tasks in the afternoon, I will go to the open space to practice sword skills secretly. After nightfall, when everyone has gone to sleep, I still keep repeating those movements, holding the wooden sword in my hands, chopping, block, move, adjust your breathing, over and over again. The proficiency in sword skills within the system is also continuously increasing. Current progress, basic level. It has been detected that the host has a basic understanding of combat skills. Do you want to enable professional paths? I didn't hesitate for a moment. Open. Current level, junior militiaman. Obtained additional attribute points. I looked at the new career panel, and for the first time, I felt real excitement. The apprentice blacksmith gave me the ability to change my life. The militia profession gives me the ability to protect myself. The world is not just dangerous because of poverty. There are also monsters and enemies hidden in the darkness. Only strength is the ultimate guarantee. I have allocated the new attribute points to the agility skill. There are once again changes occurring in my body. My movements became much more flexible. In the past, I would get noticeably tired after using the sword just a few times. Now, I can hold it for a longer period of time. As for skill points, I haven't used them yet. The system has already given a prompt. Skill points can be used to enhance, but currently, my foundation is too weak. Rather than rushing to acquire a particular skill, I need to focus on improving my overall abilities. On the second day of training, I clearly feel that the gap between me and others is getting wider. In the past, it required several people to work together to carry those iron blocks. Now, I can do it alone. While repairing the horse gear, the others are still getting used to it. I can quickly identify the problems that need to be addressed. Teacher Bourne is watching me more and more often. Lane, after a day of training, he called out to me, "Did you really only come from a farming family in the past?" I stopped walking. Why does the teacher ask such a question? Bourne picked up the saddle that I had repaired. You used it for less than half a month, and you're not just imitating blindly. You understand. I remained silent for a moment. People in this world do not possess the modern knowledge system, but those who have rich experience can still detect abnormalities. I didn't explain anything in detail, just said, I don't want to spend my whole life working in agriculture. Bourne looked at me. After a while, he nodded his head. Having ambitions isn't a bad thing, but remember that, the higher you go, the stronger the enemies become. If one doesn't have sufficient strength, ambitions will only lead to disaster. I carefully noted this sentence down. In recent days, I have gradually learned more about the situation in the manor. There were several dozen participants in the training camp. In the end, only 5 people were able to become official servants. Among all these positions, the competition is particularly fierce in the role of Knight Squire, because becoming a Knight Squire means stepping onto the true path of transcendence, and ordinary servants, in the future, will most likely become administrators or craftsmen. It's clear that Rich also saw this as an opportunity. His father ran a tavern. I have met many people who work as managers of these estates. Since he was a child, he has received various forms of etiquette training. His advantage lies in his background. My advantage lies in the system itself. The two of them are destined to conflict with each other. Indeed, another few days have passed. The manor organized a sword skills competition. All new members must undergo practical training. The person responsible for providing guidance is the Knight Squire. One of the servants said, "The battle isn't about you dying for the sake of it. You need to demonstrate your ability to make judgments, know when to attack and when to defend." After the drawing, my opponent is Rich. Everyone around immediately became interested. The two of them have met each other. Now it gets interesting. Richie stepped onto the stage, holding the wooden sword in his hands. There was a smile on his face. Lane, actually, I really admire you. I watched him. Admire me? Yes. Richie approached slowly. A son of a farmer, actually daring to stand with us. Such courage is truly rare. Those around them could hear the irony in his words. I gripped the wooden sword tightly. Have we finished talking? Richie's smile froze for a moment. It seems that you still haven't learned how to respect others. I will teach you today. The speech is over. He was the first to take action. Richie's swordsmanship is not bad at all. At least it's much better than ordinary Novellians. His father has even spent money to hire teachers for his children. The basic movements are very standard. The first sword, direct penetration. The second sword, scour through everything in its path. The continuous attacks forced me to retreat. If it were Ryan from half a month ago, he might have already lost the game, but now it's different. What the system strengthens isn't just the body, and my ability to learn. I can clearly observe his patterns of behavior. His right shoulder will move forward before the attack. He tends to keep his center of gravity on his left foot. During the third attack, he will definitely choose to press down quickly. Just as Ricky swung his sword again, I stepped aside in advance. His wooden sword glided past my clothes. The next moment, my wooden sword is now positioned in front of his shoulder. The entire room was quiet. Richie was stunned. He didn't expect to lose so quickly. Just now. It's just luck. He said that through gritted teeth. I take back the sword. If you want to continue, you can do so. These words made Rich's face look even worse. The knight who was responsible for the assessment spoke up. That's enough. Lane wins. Discussions began to spread around them. When did he become so powerful? Didn't you just do all the work before? Is it possible that he is hiding his true abilities? I didn't provide any explanations, because the true improvement is still far from being complete. However, I didn't notice anything. on the other side of the training ground. Serenia is looking over here. Standing beside her was Perez. Who is that young man? Serenia asked. Perez gave a glance. Lane, a son of a tenant farmer. Serenia frowned slightly. The son of a tenant farmer? His basic movements aren't quite right. Perez nodded. I also noticed it. His physical condition is quite average, but his learning speed is truly astonishing. Serenia looked at me. Interesting. On the other side, Ricci lost the match and returned to the resting area. His several followers gathered around him. Mr. Ricci. That Ryan. Ricky slammed his fist onto the table. Shut up. His gaze was dark and sinister. From childhood to adulthood, it was the first time he felt embarrassed in front of so many people, especially the person who was defeated. It was that tenant farmer whom he always looked down upon. He thinks that winning once will give him a chance to turn the situation around? Ricci said in a low voice. I will make sure he knows about it. Some people can always remain at the bottom. That night, I prepared for my training as usual. However, I noticed that there was an unfamiliar footprint nearby my residence. Those are not the footprints of the people trained in the manor. It's actually a leather boot, and it was covered in dirt. Someone has been here. I squatted down to take a look. A sense of alertness arises in the mind. During this period, I have been working hard to improve my skills, but I haven't forgotten. This is not a world at peace. Outside the noble estates, there are bandits. There are monsters present. There are also dangers hidden in the darkness. I gripped the wooden sword tightly. I realized it for the first time. A real test indeed. It's probably just the beginning. After that night, I no longer slept without any protection, as I used to do before. This world is completely different from the place where I once lived. In modern society, if a stranger leaves footprints near a door, it most likely indicates that someone has passed by. But in the territory of Valence, it means that danger may be approaching. There are bandits here. There are monsters present. There are cult followers hidden in the wilderness. Some people even dare to kill people at night, solely for the sake of profit. I placed the dagger beside my pillow, remaining vigilant. Early the next morning, I noticed that those footprints had disappeared. There was also no any unusual signs in the manor, but my intuition tells me that things haven't ended yet. Indeed, after the training started, I noticed that Rich's gaze towards me had changed. In the past, he treated it with contempt. Now, there is also a trace of deep-seated resentment hidden within it. I am very familiar with this kind of change. A person who always stood at a high position was suddenly surpassed by someone who was considered to be of lower status to him. The emotions that arise are often not of the kind of admiration. It's a sense of unwillingness. On the morning of that day, Teacher Bourne arranged for us to learn the basics of. Today, everyone has completed one iron nail. He said that. Don't underestimate those iron nails. True craftsmanship begins with the simplest things. A well-crafted iron nail, made by an excellent blacksmith, can withstand multiple levels of pressure. Training begins. The others quickly picked up their tools, but many people are experiencing forging for the first time. The location where the hammer fell is not accurate. The control of the fire level is also unstable. Ding! Ding! The entire forging area was filled with continuous tapping sounds. I stand in front of the stove. Hold the hammer in your hands. The system begins recording. I'm not in a hurry to achieve high speeds. Instead, we observe the changes that occurred to the iron block. Temperature, shape, direction of force application. In the modern world, I have had some exposure to mechanical knowledge, although it's different from the actual process of forging, but there are similarities in the underlying principles. Strength isn't everything. Control is the key. 1 hour later, my iron nails are now ready for use. Bourne picked it up and took a look at it. Not bad. The people around them showed expressions of surprise. So quickly? Did he study it before? I put down the tools. No. Bourne looked at me. Then you must have a very strong learning ability. Just at that moment, Ricci walked over. He was holding his own iron nails. Teacher, I've finished. Bourne took it over. I took a look. Qualified. A smile appeared on Ricky's lips. Then, he looked at my iron nail. But it's just about completing the basic steps. What really matters is quality. After he said that, he suddenly picked up my iron nail. I bent it with a lot of effort. Click. The iron nail bent directly. The people around them were stunned. Ricci said, "It seems like it's not that impressive after all." I watched him. There was no need to rush into arguments. Instead, I picked up his iron nails. Use the same amount of effort. Click. Richi's iron nails also bent down, but the positions of the bends are different. Burton took 2 iron nails. Take a closer look. Richi. His voice became colder. Your iron nails have cracks inside them. Richi's expression changed instantly. It's impossible. Born pointed at the cross-section. What matters in forging isn't the appearance of the object. If the temperature is too high, while it's easy to shape the material, it will also destroy its toughness. Lane's iron nails have greater strength. The looks of those around me changed once more. I didn't pay any attention to it, because I know true strength doesn't need to be proven through words alone. A few days later, the manor organization went out for purchasing goods. Some of the new members were responsible for transporting materials. I was arranged to go to the town together with Gareth. This is the first time I have left the estate. Enter the town of Valens. This place is more prosperous than I expected. There are merchants walking along the streets. There are mercenaries among them. And there were also knights wearing armor. I saw quite a few weapon stores, medicine store. There are even stalls that sell materials used to craft magical items. Gareth stared at the streets. His eyes were filled with longing. If one day comes when I can become a knight squire, that would be wonderful. I asked, why do I want to become a knight? He remained silent for a while. Because my village was attacked by monsters in the past. Father died in order to protect us. At that time, I was thinking about that. If I had the power, perhaps things would be different. I patted his shoulder. So you want to become stronger? He nodded. Yes. I watched the people on the street. Many people in this world strive to gain power. It's not for showing off. It's all about surviving. After the procurement process is completed, we pass by a blacksmith shop. A prompt appeared suddenly in the system. Advanced crafting environment detected. Do you want to proceed with the learning process? My eyes lit up. Gareth, you go back first. He was stunned. And you? I have some things that need to be done. He gave me a glance. Then, he smiled. You really don't miss any opportunities. I entered the blacksmith shop. The boss is a middle-aged man. I see the costumes of the noblemen on my body. Question. Yes. Come to buy things? I shook my head. I want to learn. The boss looked at me from head to toe. Is the training in the manor not enough? I said. I want to become stronger. The boss remained silent for a while. Then, he pointed towards the bellows located next to him. Then, let's start with the simplest solution. Pump the bellows. I have no objections at all. Let's get started right away. Just one day. I haven't created any weapons at all. It's just a continuous act of pulling the bellows. Many people may think this is a waste of resources. But the system won't do it. Basic. When we leave tonight. The boss looked at me. Young man, you're different from the other apprentices. They want to learn the fastest way possible. You are willing to do the most basic tasks. I laughed. Because the foundation determines the upper limit. The boss was momentarily stunned. Then, he nodded his head. If you become a real blacksmith in the future, remember to come back. After returning to the manor, my attributes have been improved once more. My professional experience is also approaching the stage of advancement. But at the same time, now, trouble has also arrived. The night of the second day, I just finished my training, ready to return to the dormitory. Suddenly, there were footsteps behind me. I stopped. Who? There was no response. The next second, a dark figure rushed out. A fist was aimed straight at my head. I quickly turned to the side. The opponent's attack missed its target. Under the light of the moonlight, I clearly recognized who was approaching. It's not Rick, but the aura emanating from his body. It's clear that he's not an ordinary trainee. This is a person who has actually experienced battles firsthand. He looked at me. The voice is hoarse. Young man, someone has paid to learn from your lessons. I clenched my fists. The system started up instantly. Detected combat status. I stared at the person before me. I understand it in my heart. Richi finally took action. But he didn't expect that to happen. The current me. He is no longer the young tenant farmer who was bullied by everyone. The dark figure rushed forward again. This time, I was able to clearly see his movements. He didn't use any unnecessary moves at all. There are no those fancy sword techniques displayed on the training ground. Every step is taken with a murderous intent. This is a person who has truly experienced the realities of battle. I quickly stepped back by half a step. A fist hit my cheek by chance. The sound of the windward passed by, close to my ears. If this punch hits an ordinary person, it will definitely cause the person to fall unconscious. I became even more vigilant. "Who are you?" I stared at him and asked. The man did not respond. It was just a cold smile. "Young man, knowing too much isn't beneficial at all." After he said that, he pounced forward again. This time, he had an extra short blade in his hand. Under the moonlight, the blades glinted with cold light. My body is in a state of constant tension. The system panel appears on the screen. Enter combat mode. Analyzing the enemy's attack patterns. Risk level: moderate. My brain became clear in an instant. The training over the past 10-odd days has now been fully utilized. The stable control skills developed during the process of hoof trimming. The power gained through the combat awareness that comes from sword training. These things that seem to have nothing to do with each other. At this moment, all connect together. The man swung his knife towards my chest. I didn't choose to resist outright. The body moves to the side. At the same time, grasp his wrists. This is the first time I have actually faced a life-or-death battle. In the moment of contact with my hand, I felt the strength in the other person's arm. It's very strong, but it's not strong enough to be able to counterbalance anything. My physical condition has been improved through systematic training, and now I'm already stronger than average teenagers. I exerted all my strength suddenly. The man's expression changed instantly. He didn't expect that a 15-year-old boy could possess such great strength. I took the opportunity to twist his wrists around. The short blade fell to the ground. Then, he kicked him in the knee. The man's body is out of balance. Bang! He fell heavily. But in the next moment, he quickly turned over. He pulled out another dagger from his waist. This action made my heart sink. He isn't an ordinary thug. Ordinary people definitely wouldn't carry two weapons with them at all times. I grabbed a wooden stick that was lying nearby. Just as he was about to launch another attack, a sound suddenly emerged. "Stop!" Two guards from the manor rushed over. The man saw the guards appearing. A hint of cruelty flashed through his eyes. Then, he turned around and ran away. I didn't chase after them, because I know such people dare to launch night attacks on mansions. There must be other reasons behind this. The guard checked the ground carefully. One of them picked up that short blade. "This isn't a weapon used by ordinary mercenaries." The other person frowned. I shook my head. "It's the first time I've seen it." They gave me a glance. "It seems like there was some unexpected situation. A single person can defeat such a guy?" I didn't provide any explanations. Just said, "He's likely to come back again." The guard nodded. "We will investigate this matter. But I know very well in my heart, things won't end so easily." The second day, the news spread throughout the training camp. Someone launched a night attack on Lane. As a result, it failed. Everyone started talking about it. When Gareth found me, his expression was very troubled. "Is it you, Rich?" I didn't answer. Gareth clenched his fists. I'd felt that something was wrong with him for a long time. After the training yesterday, he kept asking about your situation. I looked towards the distance. Towards Ridge. He is talking with a few young people. It seems to be just like usual. But when our gazes meet each other, he seemed to be momentarily stunned. Then, it quickly moved away. I already have a judgment in my mind. However, there is no evidence. Now, making accusations without any evidence will only attract unwanted attention. What I need to do is keep getting stronger. That night, I entered the training ground once again. The system prompt appears. Battle ended. I looked at the new skill points. It wasn't used immediately. Instead, you need to open the skill list. Military professional skills. Basic combat. Basic sword skills. Basic defense measures. In the basic combat section, there is an upgrade option available after completing the basic training. I thought for a moment. Select. Skill improvement successful. In an instant, a large number of combat techniques flooded into my mind. It's not just a matter of memory, and things like physical instincts. How to control the distance between objects. How to leverage resources effectively. How to determine the movements of enemies. It seems like this knowledge has been acquired through years of practice. I clenched my fists. I become more and more certain. This is where the system truly shines. It doesn't simply provide strength directly. It allows me to have the possibility of growing into a strong person. A few days later, the manor hosted a special training session. The person in charge of guiding the training is Knight Instructor Perez. All the new members were very excited, because usually, they have no chance to meet real knights at all. Perez stood in the middle of the training ground. His gaze swept over everyone present. It finally stayed with me. "Lane." I stepped out of the line. Instructor, Perez said. I heard that you were attacked a few days ago. Right? I nodded. Yes. Are you afraid? I thought for a moment. Fear. People around them showed surprised expressions. They thought I would say that I wasn't afraid. But I continued to speak. Fearing means that I know of the dangers. Only by being aware of the dangers can we prepare in advance. Perez looked at me. There was a hint of recognition in his eyes. Not bad. A true warrior isn't without fear. It's about controlling fear. Then, he began to explain basic combat techniques. I listened very carefully, because I discovered that Knight's training is completely different from regular sword skills. They not only strive for power, still strive for physical coordination, breathing, rhythm, will. After the training session is over, the others have left. However, I decided to stay and take care of organizing the training ground. Perez looked at me. Why do you work so hard? I stopped what I was doing, because when I was born, I didn't have any choices at all. So, in the future, I want to decide everything on my own. Perez remained silent for a while. Then he said, Do you know what it takes to become a knight squire? I shook my head. Power, skills, loyalty, and there's also talent. After saying that, he looked into the distance. Many people work hard for a lifetime, yet they still cannot cross that door. But you, he paused for a moment, your chances of success are higher than those of ordinary people. Something stirred in my heart. Instructor, if I really want to become a knight, how much more do I need to go? Perez looked at me. It's very far. But at least, you're already on the road. This sentence remained with me for a long time. That night, I continued my training. But they don't know about it. In the distance, Rich is meeting with a stranger. Didn't you say that he was just the son of a farmer? The man asked in a low voice. Richie had a dark expression on his face. I don't know why he suddenly became like this, but I must make him disappear. The man sneered. You already paid for it. The rest of the matters don't require your attention. Richie stared at the man in the darkness. For the first time, a sense of unease arose in my heart, because he discovered it. The situation has exceeded his control, and I too experienced new changes during this night. The system notification sound is heard. Obtained additional attribute points. It has been determined that the host possesses the potential to become a knight. Hidden. I'm looking at the new tasks. His gaze became increasingly determined. From the son of a tenant farmer to a knight squire. This road. I will definitely continue on with this journey. After the system detected any hidden tasks, I didn't say anything for a long time. Task reward? Unknown. Failure penalty? Unknown. I stared at those lines of text, without any hesitation in my heart. Become a knight squire. This was actually one of my greatest goals since I came to this world. This world is full of dangers. Ordinary people can only survive by relying on luck. But knights are different. They possess power, having status. More importantly, they have the ability to protect those they want to protect. I don't want to watch my father and mother work hard forever. I don't want to watch my friends face danger and be forced to run away. I really don't want to be in a situation where, one day, I have to rely on others to save me from the enemy. So, I must take this path. In the days that followed, I became even more busy. Early morning, I studied the skills of being a servant under the guidance of the training staff at the estate. In the morning, we took time to care for the livestock. We had a session in the afternoon, practice sword skills in the evening. During the break time, the research system will provide information about the various professional skills available. The changes in my body become more and more noticeable. In the past, due to long-term labor, Ryan's body was extremely weak and fragile. Now, the muscles begin to become firm and tense. After my strength has increased, carrying heavy objects is no longer a difficult task. After the improvement in agility, the sword techniques become much more fluid. The most obvious change is related to physical strength. In the past, after a day of training, I would almost fall asleep right away. Even now, with daily intense training, it's still possible to remain. However, I know, this is not even enough. A knight is not an ordinary warrior. The image of Instructor Perez cutting through the stone pillar with a single sword stroke remained in my mind ever since. That kind of power. It's something that I can't reach with my current abilities. One night, I am currently training in the open space. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. Your training method is really unique. I turned around. It turned out that the person who arrived was Serena, Count Valen's daughter. She wore simple training clothes, without the elaborate decorations commonly seen on noble girls. He still holds that massive double-handed sword in his hands. I immediately bowed in greeting. Miss Serena. She looked at me. Do you train like this every day? Yes. Why? I thought for a moment. Because I want to become a knight. Serena didn't answer immediately. She stepped aside and took a look at the traces left by my practice. Your sword skills have improved significantly, but your physical foundation is too weak. I didn't deny it. In fact, the system has improved quite rapidly, but my starting point was too low. Compared to those who have been trained from a young age, I still have a significant gap, Serena suddenly said. Do you know what the most important thing for a knight is? My answer: power? She shook her head. Power is merely a result of certain actions. What really matters is whether the body can withstand the force. She looked at me. Many young people learn sword skills with the sole goal of becoming stronger. They ignored their bodies, finally gaining power, but still unable to control it. I'm listening carefully, because I know, although this young girl is still young, she is indeed very beautiful, but the level of her expertise far exceeds mine. Then what should I do? Serena looked at me. Train the body. Refine energy and chi levels. Let your body become a vessel for carrying strength. She paused for a moment. I can teach you a method. I was stunned. Why? Serena looked at me. Because I want to know. A person without any background. How far can they really go? She stretched out her hand. Come with me. I followed her to a training area located at the back of the estate. This place is rarely visited by people on a regular basis. Serena began to explain. This is the technique of breathing through the mouth used by giant bears. Many knights and their servants will learn this skill, but there aren't many people who truly understand how to use it. I adjusted my breathing according to her method. Inhale. Pause. Slowly exhaled. At first, I just felt something was strange, but as the number of times increases, a warm current seemed to emerge from within my body. A prompt appeared suddenly in the system. Should learning activities be recorded? Something stirred in my heart. Record. Learned successfully. Giant bear breathing technique. Introduction. Can be improved through continuous practice. I didn't show any emotions on my face, but inside, waves of emotion were already stirring up. This is the true way of cultivating excellence in this world. It's not just about exercising simply. It's a method that can truly transform the nature of the body itself. Serena kept an eye on my condition. His expression became more serious over time. On the first encounter, it's possible to maintain a steady breathing rhythm. Your ability to understand things is even stronger than I expected, I said. If it weren't for your guidance, I might never have discovered this path at all. She shook her head. Opportunities are just the beginning. What really determines the future is you yourself. Then, she took out a package from beside her. After opening it, inside is a piece of processed animal meat, wild bear meat. Ordinary people might not be able to tolerate eating it, but your body has been trained, so you can try it. I stared at that piece of meat. This is too expensive, Serena said calmly. If you truly possess such talent, these items will not be wasted. If you don't have it, it's just a way of recognizing the reality in advance. Her words were very direct, but there was no malice involved. I took the animal meat. Thank you. Serena looked at me. There's one more thing to mention. To become a formal knight squire, there are several mandatory requirements. First, the age requirement must be met. Secondly, one must possess basic combat skills. Thirdly, it must be approved by the knights. Fourth, the body meets the required standards. If you can meet the requirements before reaching adulthood, she stopped for a moment. I can recommend you as my personal attendant. My heart was shocked. What does this mean? Private attendance of noble knights. It not only represents an improvement in status, it also means that access to more resources becomes possible. But I wasn't overwhelmed by the situation. I know, this opportunity requires strength to be achieved. I will try my best. Serena nodded. I'm looking forward to hearing your answer. After she left, I stared at the meat of the wild bear beast in my hands. I finally got to experience the world of nobles for the first time. In the past, I think the nobility is far away from us. Now, I discovered, opportunities always exist. It's only the weak ones who have no right to touch it at all. Back at the accommodation, I began practicing the technique of breathing like a giant bear, taking the meat of the simultaneously. An intense burst of heat erupted in an instant. My body feels like it's wrapped in flames. Ordinary people probably can't even bear it anymore. But the body, after being strengthened by the system, allows me to absorb it gradually. Improved physical fitness. This night, I have surpassed the limits that existed in the past. The second day, on the training ground, everyone noticed the changes in me. Gareth looked at me. Lane, have you become stronger again? I smiled. It's just that I spend more time training. He shook his head. You jerk. One day, it will scare everyone. Just as we were talking to each other, Richie passed by from the side. He looked at me. His eyes had a complex expression. In the past, he believed that I'm just a farmer who happens to be lucky. But now, even he had to admit it. That boy who was once laughed at by him carelessly. I'm slowly catching up to them. It even started to overtake them. And outside the manor, news about missing children is becoming more and more common. The atmosphere in the town gradually became tense. Someone said, a mysterious organization appeared in the wilderness. Someone said, in the night, I heard strange crying sounds. The new sheriff, Harris, has begun the investigation. And I don't know. It won't take long. This case will intersect with my fate. The news of the missing children quickly spread throughout the entire Valens territory. At first, it was just children from the nearby villages who disappeared at night. The villagers thought it was just a child playing around. So they went into the forest. But the next day, no one was found. Third day, there is still no any news at all. It wasn't until several families reported the same issue that everyone realized something was wrong. The atmosphere in the manor also began to become tense. After the training session ended, everyone gathered together to discuss this matter. I heard that there are already 5 children who have disappeared. Someone has seen strange figures. Could it be a monster? As soon as he said those words, the surroundings instantly became quiet. Monsters. For ordinary people, these 2 words represent death. This world is not peaceful at all. In the depths of the forest, there are fierce wild animals. In the wilderness, there are also polluted monsters. Even in some ancient ruins, there are dangers that are difficult to understand. Gareth said in a low voice, when I was a child, there were also monsters near our village. That time, many people died. I watched him. Has it been resolved finally? Gareth shook his head. It was a knight who passed by chance. When he said this, there was an expression of envy in his eyes. That's why I want to become a knight. I didn't say anything, because I understand it more and more clearly. People in this world pursue power, not for the sake of showing off. It's because without strength, one cannot protect themselves. A few days later, a special person arrived at the manor. The new sheriff of the Valens territory, Harris. He is a man in his 30s. My physique isn't very strong, but his eyes were extremely sharp. He came to the estate in order to investigate the case of a child disappearance. After the training session is over, he called everyone together to ask about the situation. Have you noticed any strangers recently? Have you heard any strange sounds? Is there anyone who is acting abnormally at night? Most people don't have any clues at all. When it's my turn, Harris gave me a glance. Your name is Lane. Right. Yes. I heard that you were attacked some time ago. Right. I nodded. Someone attacked me? Do you know the identity of the other person? I don't know. Harris remained silent for a moment. I have checked the weapon that person used. It's not something that ordinary farmers or bandits would use. Something stirred in my heart. What do you think he is? Harris said. Mercenaries. Or fugitives from justice. I remember those words of the man before he left. Someone is paying to learn from my lessons. If it really is a mercenary force. So, who is the person behind this? The answer is already quite clear, but there is currently no evidence. Harris continued to ask. Other than this, have you noticed any other abnormalities? I thought about it for a while. Suddenly remembered the footprints I saw in the night a few days ago. Yes. I told him about the situation. After listening to the speech, Harris became very serious. What time? Late at night. Location? I took him to the vicinity of the dormitory. He carefully observed the ground. Then, he squatted down. Strange. I asked. What have you found? Harris pointed at the ground. These footprints are quite deep. It indicates that the other party is carrying a certain weight. It might be a weapon. He stood up. And the direction of movement is from outside the estate, towards inside. I frowned. The manor is well guarded. It's not easy for outsiders to get in, unless someone who is familiar with this place. Thinking about this, I felt a sense of vigilance arise in my heart. Harris looked at me. Lane, don't act alone recently. I nodded. But I know. The situation is getting closer to being dangerous. On the other side, Ricci has become much quieter lately. He no longer tried to cause any trouble. Even during training, they no longer provoke each other. But I know. This change is not normal. A person who is proud and arrogant. Suddenly, silence fell over the place. There are usually only two reasons for this: give up, or prepare for something bigger. I prefer the latter option. But right now, I don't have time to pay attention to him, because the estate is now entering the final stage of training. Rider Basic Test. This determines who will be able to become a formal servant. There's even a chance to become a knight squire. The testing process consists of 3 parts: power, skills, will. On the first day, we tested our strength. Everyone needs to carry heavy equipment. In the past, such training was very difficult for me. But now, I completed it easily. It even exceeds the number of people who are interested in it. The person in charge of recording scores is looking at me. Lane, your strength is growing rapidly. I didn't provide any explanations. Just continue with the next task. Item 2. Battle skills. I picked up the wooden sword, facing another trainer. This time, I haven't hidden my abilities at all. Basic sword skills. Basic combat. The physical control that comes with the giant bear's breathing techniques. Give it my all. Just a few rounds of gameplay. My opponent was forced to retreat. People around them began to talk about it. When did his swordsmanship become so skilled? Isn't he a blacksmith apprentice? Is it possible that he is also training in combat skills? Third item. Will test. All new members need to continue completing their tasks after the intense training sessions. Many people just give up after going through half of the work. I also feel physically exhausted. But the process of the giant bear's breathing began to unfold. Breathing adjustment. My body has recovered. Finally completed. The testing is now complete. Bourne looked at the list. My name is clearly listed at the top of the list. But what surprised me was, Ricci also passed the test. He stood among the crowd. His expression was somber. Obviously, he also saw the results. Night. I am currently practicing breathing techniques. Suddenly, there was a faint sound coming from outside the window. I immediately opened my eyes. There are people there. I picked up the short sword, slowly approaching the window. A dark shadow flashed by quickly. I didn't go after them, because this time, it's clear that the other party is just observing. The second day, a piece of news has arrived. Another child has disappeared in the town, and this time as well. The location where the person disappeared is very close to the manor. Harris looked very upset. This isn't just an ordinary kidnapping. Someone is deliberately choosing their targets. There must be some kind of connection between these children. I stood in the crowd. Suddenly, I remembered a detail. Last night, the direction from which that dark shadow is moving away. It's the path leading into the wilderness. And that road? Someone once saw a mysterious carriage passing by. I've found Harris. Tell him about my findings. He looked at me. Are you sure? I'm sure. Harris pondered for a moment. Lane, do you know what this means? I nodded. Harris shook his head. No. He finished speaking, looking towards the distant wilderness. Those children who have disappeared. Maybe he's still alive. My fist gradually tightened. There is a lot of darkness in this world. In the past, I didn't have the ability to face it. But now, I now possess strength. If someone wants to harm innocent people, I won't sit by and do nothing. However, I don't know. This investigation, it will allow me to face the hidden darkness of this world for the first time. It also helped me to recognize one name. Ska, a dangerous criminal who is wanted by the entire territory. When Sheriff Harris left the estate with the investigators, I stood by the training ground, watching them disappear into the wilderness. I have a premonition in my heart. This incident is far from over yet. In the past, I only wanted to change my fate through systems, to become a formal servant, become a knight squire, to help parents live a better life. But now, when I know that those children may be suffering somewhere, I find it impossible to pretend that nothing has happened at all. The meaning of power isn't just about making oneself live better, and when danger arises, they have the ability to step forward and stand up for others. In the following days, the manor increased its security measures. After all the new recruits' training is completed, they must act together as a group. Nighttime also sees an increase in the number of patrol officers. But the disappearance incidents didn't stop at all. Another 2 children have disappeared. The entire town of Valens began to fall into panic. In the tavern, on the streets, in the market, everyone is discussing this matter. I heard that those children all have one thing in common. What? They're all orphans who don't have any parents to care for them. Or children from poor families. This news made my heart sink. If it's true then. So, it's clear that the target wasn't chosen randomly. Instead, they are looking for people who are easy to deal with. That day, after completing my training, I went to the blacksmith shop to retrieve the tools I had repaired. We met Isla on the way. She lives in an old house near the manor. My parents passed away when I was very young. I have been living by doing various odd jobs for people in the neighborhood. She is 1 year younger than me. They are quiet people. I rarely engage in conversations with others on a voluntary basis. But she always secretly brings me some bread she makes when I pass by her. Lane. She walked over, holding a small basket in her hands. This is for you. I looked at the bread inside. You're sending me something again? Ella lowered her head. You've been working out quite hard lately. I just feel that you need it. I took the basket over. Thank you. She looked up at me once. I heard that there are some bad people in the town recently. You shouldn't go out at night. I smiled. Don't worry. I will pay attention to that. Ella nodded, but her expression remained worried. She knows that this world is dangerous. I also know that ordinary people like her, once faced with danger, have little ability to resist. I watched her leave, with her silhouette fading away from my sight. I decided silently in my heart, if someone really does hurt her, I will definitely protect her. That night, I'm practicing sword skills right now. A prompt appeared suddenly in the system. Physical recovery ability has been enhanced. Obtained additional attribute points. I checked my status. Name, Ryan. Occupation, blacksmith apprentice. Junior militia members. Strength, 5. Physical condition, 6. Agile, 6. Spirit, 5. Skills, basic forging, basic hoof trimming, basic sword skills, proficient in combat. The technique of breathing through the mouth of a giant bear. Just over a month. My body has undergone significant changes. But I know, there's still a long way to go before I can become a true knight. The second day, news suddenly came from the manor. The Count's residence needs a group of people to assist with the investigation of the surrounding area. Among them were some of the newcomers during the training period. I and Gareth were selected. Before leaving, Sheriff Harris came to find us. This operation is very dangerous. Your role is simply to assist in the search efforts. Do not act on your own without permission. Gareth nodded. Understood. I also agreed to do so. But once we entered the wilderness, I found that things are more complicated than I thought. Near the search area, there are obvious signs of human activity. Abandoned camp. Remnants of the campfire. There are also some strange symbols here. Harris squatted down to observe. His expression gradually became more serious. Wild Brother Society. The person next to them asked. What is that? Harris stood up. A dangerous organization. They once robbed villages and attacked merchant caravans. Most of the members are fugitives and criminals. One of the leaders, Ska. Hearing this name, everyone's expressions changed. That crazy man wearing a mask made of human skin? Harris nodded. He likes to disguise his identity. In the past few years, he committed many crimes. I looked at the traces on the ground. I understand it in my heart. This situation has gone beyond the realm of ordinary kidnapping. These children are likely to have fallen into the hands of this organization. Continue the search. We discovered an abandoned carriage. The tracks of the wheels extend deep into the forest. Harris immediately arranged for someone to follow up on this situation. But right at that moment, a sound suddenly came from the forest. Someone is coming. The next moment, several figures rushed out. They wore worn-out leather armor, wielding weapons. They are bandits living in the wilderness. The battle erupted in an instant. Gareth finally faced his enemies head-on for the first time. His hands were clearly shaking. I patted his shoulder once. Don't panic. Be able to clearly see the opponent's movements. First, protect yourself. After saying that, I rushed out immediately, facing the first enemy. The opponent swung his sword towards us. I utilized skilled combat techniques in my actions. Avoid attacks. Then, they used wooden shields to break through his body. Snatched the weapon with a reverse motion. The entire process was carried out in a clean and efficient manner. The system alerts keep ringing continuously. These bandits are much stronger than their opponents in the training ground. But after this period of growth, I am no longer the frail young man I used to be. On the other side, Gareth also gradually became more stable, although it was his first battle. But the natural talents are quite good. I quickly got the hang of it. The battle is over. We managed to capture one of the survivors. Harris questioned him. Where is the child? The bandits clenched their teeth tightly. You can't find them. Harris drew his long sword. You'd better tell me. The bandits' expressions changed. In the end, he mentioned a specific location. An abandoned mine cave deep in the forest. That's where they hide their people. We immediately rushed over there. After entering the mine, the air is filled with a foul, rotten smell. The further you go inside, the more. The faint cry of crying can be heard even more clearly. My fists gradually tightened. Finally, we have found those missing children. They were locked behind the wooden bars. Although I was scared, but I'm still alive. Just as everyone was preparing to carry out the rescue operation, a cold voice came from the darkness. It's really troublesome. They actually tracked me down to this place. A man slowly walked out. On his face, wearing a poorly made human skin mask. Harris's expression changed instantly. Ska, the man smiled. It's been a long time since we last met, Sheriff. I looked at the person before me. For the first time, I felt real malice. These are not ordinary robbers who care only about money. This is a man who finds pleasure in causing harm to others. Ska looked at me. A child? Do they really dare to come here? I gripped the sword in my hand tightly. The system keeps giving out notifications non-stop. Goal. Scar. Risk level. High. I know. A real battle. It started. Ska stood in the depths of the mine, her face covered by a mask made of human skin, which gently swayed with the light of the fire. That mask was made very poorly. There are 2 black holes located at the position of the eyes, resembling the features of some kind of monster's face. What really makes me feel threatened is not his appearance at all. It was his gaze that mattered. It is a kind of indifference that completely disregards the value of life. Sheriff Harris gripped his sword tightly, standing in front of everyone. Ska, you managed to escape for so long. But in the end, you were still found. Ska laughed. The voice is hoarse. Found me? Do you really think that bringing a few new employees will be enough to get me to do things for them? After saying that, his gaze swept over me and Gareth. These children, I guess they haven't killed anyone yet, right? When they see blood for the first time, what will their expressions be? As soon as the words were spoken, several of his accomplices behind him also drew their weapons at the same time. Harris's expression turned serious. Protect the children. The battle erupted in an instant. The cave is quite narrow. The advantage in number of people cannot be fully utilized. But those from the Wilderness Brotherhood are clearly not ordinary bandits. Each of them has experience in fighting. The first one rushed towards my enemy, holding a short axe in his hand. His attacks are very direct. The target is right above my shoulder. If it were back to the way I used to be, this attack is likely impossible to avoid. But now, the giant bear's breathing technique continues to operate without pause. My body can respond much faster than that of ordinary people. I am moving to the right side. The short axe glided across the fabric, just close to the skin. At the same time, I drew the short sword from my hand and struck forward. There are no vulnerable points that could be attacked. It was a stab directed at his arm. Let him lose his weapons. This is the combat philosophy that Instructor Perez once discussed. The real battle isn't about who is more aggressive. It's who can finish this dangerous situation faster. The enemy has retreated. I immediately caught up with them. A sharp collision pushed him against the wall. Then, he seized his weapon. The system alerts keep ringing continuously. Defeated the enemy. On the other side, Gareth also faced tough battles. His skills have improved significantly compared to the first battle, but when faced with real desperados, the lack of experience becomes evident. A bandit seized the opportunity to catch him. Dagger thrust directly into the target. I rushed over immediately. The wooden shield slammed open towards the opponent. Gareth, don't keep staring at the weapons. Look at his shoulders. Gareth understood immediately. Adjust the actions. In the next confrontation, he successfully blocked the attack. He looked at me. His expression changed from nervous to determined. I understand now. The battle continues. Harris led the guards in eliminating most of the enemies. But Scar never took any action at all. He just stood there, observing everything around him. It seems like waiting for something to happen. I noticed this. Sheriff, something isn't right with him. Harris looked at me. What does that mean? He never attacked at all. It seems like he's waiting for the right opportunity. Just as I finished speaking, a loud noise suddenly came from the depths of the mine. Boom! The ground trembled slightly. Everyone's expressions changed. Ska laughed. You finally figured it out. It's a pity that it's already too late. He took out a black bottle from his pocket. It contains some kind of strange liquid. Harris's expression changed. Cult rituals? Ska's smile became even more wild. This world needs to change. The weak have no value at all. Only through sacrifice can one obtain true power. Hearing this, I finally understood. This matter is not just about kidnapping. There are also more underlying plots involved. Those people from Ska are responsible for capturing children. It's very likely that it was used for some kind of cult ritual. Harris shouted angrily. You idiots! Ska didn't pay attention at all. He rushed straight towards the passage beside him. Want to catch me? Then follow me. Let's see if you can still save everyone. I felt a sense of tension in my heart. Are there other children deep in the mine? Harris immediately led his men to chase after them. But Ska is extremely fast. It's clear that he had prepared the route in advance. I followed behind. The system continuously alerts of potential dangers. Target risk level has increased. It is recommended to avoid direct conflicts. But I didn't stop. Because I know, if we allow this person to escape, in the future, more people will be victims of this situation. Traced back to the deepest part of the mine, we discovered a hidden stone chamber. There are some strange altars placed inside. Several children were tied up there. Fortunately, they haven't been harmed yet. Ska stood in front of the altar. He held a black dagger in his hand. Do you really think that you have one? Harris raised his sword. Put down your weapons. Ska suddenly laughed. The next second, he rushed towards the child who was closest to him. My pupils contracted. The body acts faster than the mind. Surge out in an instant. The giant bear's breathing technique has reached its limit. All the strength was released at once. I broke open the door to Ska. His knife glided across my arm. Blood flowed out in an instant. The pain made me more awake. Ska looked at me. For the first time, a look of surprise appeared on his face. You, a servant? How is it possible to achieve such a high speed? I didn't answer. The short sword in his hand is already drawn back. Ska quickly retreated back. His combat skills are extremely impressive. It's much stronger than those bandits just now. Every attack is carried out with rich experience in mind. I kept defending myself continuously, seeking opportunities. The system begins to analyze the data. Target combat style. Assassination type. I will seize the opportunity, intentionally creating a flaw in the argument. Ska definitely got caught. He thinks of me as a young person. Lack of experience. A short knife was thrust directly into my chest. In that very moment, I turned my body to the side. Avoid deadly attacks. At the same time, grasp his wrists. Powerful explosion. Knock. His wrist made a sound as he moved. A short knife fell down. Ska's expression finally changed. Who on earth are you? I stared at him. A person who doesn't want to see their child being hurt. After saying that, I hit him in the abdomen with one punch. Ska fell to the ground. Kneeling down, Harris rushed over, placing the long sword against his neck. It's over. Ska chuckled softly. You think you can catch me? Is everything now settled? Will the brothers of the wilderness ever disappear? The darkness of this world will never disappear either. Harris did not respond. Directly control him. The children were successfully rescued. When we leave the mine shaft, it's almost dawn already. When the sunlight shines on the face, only then did I feel the real fatigue. The wound on my arm causes pain. Gareth walked over. Lane, why did you rush out of there just now? I watched him. Because some people need help. He remained silent for a while. Then, he laughed. I understand. So, you will definitely become a knight. I didn't answer. But the answer already lies within my heart. After returning to the manor, my name was remembered by many people for the first time. He is no longer that young tenant farmer who was injured by a donkey kick. It was the person who rescued the child from the Wilderness Brotherhood. However, things haven't ended yet, because it happened exactly that night. Serenia found me. She looked at the wound on my arm, frowning tightly. Do you know that you've done something very dangerous? I said in a low voice. I know. She looked at me. After a long time has passed, said in a soft voice. But you did a great job. Then, she took out a new batch of ointment. Starting from today, your training will be guided by me personally. I was stunned, because I know my path. We are about to enter a new stage. The news that Serenia personally supervised me spread quickly throughout the estate. For other trainers, this is almost impossible to happen. The daughter of the Count, Valenza's territory produces the most talented young warriors. It's really kind of him to take the time to guide the son of a farmhand. Many people don't understand this. Some people even think this is a waste of time. But I know. This isn't a sign of compassion. It's actually a test of strength. Serenia isn't interested in my background at all. It is my choice in the face of danger. The next morning, she led me to the training ground located at the back of the estate. This place is much more quiet than a regular training ground. There are various weapons placed around. Long sword, shields, sniper rifles. There were even heavy weapons used by knights. Serenia handed me a wooden sword. Attack me? I was momentarily stunned. Now? Yes. She held her wooden sword in her hands. Let me see what your real level is. I didn't hesitate at all. Enter combat mode directly. After undergoing systematic improvement, my basic skills have far surpassed those of ordinary novices. But in the face of Selena, I still feel a tremendous amount of pressure. She just stood there. It's like a mountain that cannot be shaken or moved. I took the initiative to act first. The first sword, direct penetration. Serenia easily blocked the attack. The second sword, scour through everything in its path. She simply moved half a step forward. My attack once again went missing. Third time, I'm changing the pace, approaching using skilled combat techniques. But in the moment I got closer, her wooden sword is now placed just in front of my shoulder. We lost, Serenia said. I take my weapons back. There was no sense of frustration. On the contrary, I feel even more excited, because I can see the difference between the two. True masters of strength. It's not that I'm a little stronger than ordinary people. They possess completely different levels. Do you know why you lost? I thought for a moment. Experience. And there's also the control over the body itself. Serenia nodded. Not bad. You have a very strong ability to learn. Your combat awareness is also far superior to that of people your age. But you lack real combat experience. She walked up to me. The victories achieved on the training ground do not mean victories on the battlefield. When faced with death directly, people will expose all their weaknesses. I have carefully noted it down. From this day onward, the content of my training has changed. Morning exercise involves practicing the giant bear breathing technique. I practiced the skills of the manner in the morning. Sword training was conducted in the afternoon. In the evening, I received practical training from Serena. She won't tell me the answer directly. In every battle, she would ask me to find the problems myself. Your strength is sufficient, but your attacks are too straightforward. The real enemy won't stand there, waiting for you to use your sword. Your defense is very good, but your counterattacks aren't fast enough yet. Just half a month, my fighting skills have improved significantly. The skills in the system are also constantly changing. Basic sword skills have reached a proficient level. The properties have been improved once more. Strength, 6. Physical condition, 7. Agile, 7. Spirit, 5. Although there is still a significant gap between me and a true knight, but I have completely left the realm of ordinary people. Meanwhile, the assessment for completing the manor program is getting closer. All the new members started training intensively, because the 5 people who will remain in the end are already determined. Ricci is also among them. It's just that his condition is becoming more and more strange. Since the Scar incident happened, he has clearly become much more restrained. They didn't bother me anymore. There were even several times during training when he avoided looking at me at all. I know. It's not because he changed. It's because he realized the gap between the two. But I didn't relax my vigilance at all. A person's personality doesn't change completely just because they fail a few times. On the day of the assessment, all newcomers, please gather here. The person who announced the results was the estate manager. Today's assessment will determine the final list of those who will be retained. Those who pass the test will become official servants of the Valens estate. Those who perform exceptionally well will have the opportunity to become candidates for Knight's Page. Everyone seemed to be nervous. Item 1. Comprehensive ability test. Repair tools. Take care of the war horses. Process the materials. These are the things that made me start learning from scratch. Now, it has become my advantage. Item 2. Battle testing. My opponent is chosen randomly. Result. I encountered Ricky again. Everyone around immediately became quiet. They all know about it. There was a sense of grudge between these two people. Ricky picked up the wooden sword. Look at me. Lane, you should be satisfied now. Right? I didn't respond at all. He continued to say, everyone thinks you're a genius. I think you'll be able to become a knight soon. But do you know what? I also thought that I would win. His voice became lower. Until I met you. For the first time. I could sense some complexity in his tone. It's not just simple resentment. There's still something that makes me unwilling to give up. I said, Richie, if you really want to become stronger, don't blame others for failures. He gripped his sword tightly. There was a moment of silence. Then, they rushed forward. This time, his attacks no longer carried the previous arrogance. Even more stable. More seriously, I also didn't underestimate him at all. The two people's wooden swords kept colliding against each other. Finally, I noticed his weaknesses. The wooden sword rested on his chest. Richie lost the match. But this time, he wasn't angry at all. I just lowered my head. I lost. After saying that, he turned around and left. I watched his back as he walked away. My feelings are a bit complicated. If he hadn't chosen the wrong path, perhaps we can become competitors instead. It's not an enemy. The final list has been announced. My name is listed first. Gareth also managed to stay behind. Richie also passed the test. This surprised me a little, but it has also been proven. His strength is indeed quite impressive. On the day of graduation, Serenia found me. She looked at the list. Congratulations. I will perform the ceremony. Thank you, miss. She shook her head. This was something you won by yourself. Then, she handed me a badge. I received the badge. The fingers are slightly tightened. From the moment we enter the manor, I experienced bullying, training, battle, dangerous. The young tenant farmer who was once looked down upon by everyone. Finally, I took the first step. But what Selena said next made me understand. The true path. It's only just begun. Lane. But Valen's territory has been quite unstable lately. News has arrived from the coast direction. Pirates are gathering together. At the same time, the forces behind the Wilderness Brotherhood still remain unknown. The dangers in the future will only increase. I looked into the distance. I gripped the badge in my hand tightly. I know. This world won't become simpler just because I become stronger. On the contrary, the closer to the center of power, the greater the danger faced. But now, I'm no longer the person who can only wait for fate to decide everything. I have a system. I have friends. There are people who want to be protected. There are also paths that must be followed forward. Born as the son of a tenant farmer, go to the blacksmith apprentice's place. Then, to the militia. Next step. I want to become a real knight. And my story, it's only just begun.